Hi, welcome back. Let's bring this a little closer, shall we? Today we're going to be talking all about mindfulness and self-care around the holiday period. I would say that this is one of the most important times of the year to practice mindfulness and one of the most challenging times of the year to practice being present. I think it's so important, and that's what we're going to be exploring today. Before we get started, let's pause and take a really nice, deep, conscious breath, inhaling fully through the nostrils, pausing at the top, and then a big exhale. Let it all go. Let's do that again. Inhaling, pause, and exhale. Release, shake it off. I'm going to be very careful not to spill my coffee. And we're going for all the festive vibes. Got my coffee, got my Christmas candle. We're getting into it. So today is the first, when this episode goes live, it's the 1st of December. And it's really kick-starting, I suppose, the holiday season. Christmas is almost upon us. It's only a few weeks away. And it can be such a busy time of year that we can feel overwhelmed, we can feel stressed. I feel like I said that really funny. We can feel stressed, we can feel anxiety. We can often get really triggered around this time of year, being around family, being around loved ones, as much as we love them, do have a tendency to trigger us. And so it can also be a really difficult time of year for many because it can bring up feelings of loneliness, isolation, sadness, grief if we've lost loved ones and they're no longer present. It can be a period of time full of mixed emotions. And so my intention today is to share some ideas around how we can create a sense of calm, a sense of centeredness, a sense of ease throughout and during the chaos of this time of the year. And it is one of the last videos that I'm going to be sharing in this series that I've been doing, which I'm really loving. I'm repurposing, resharing old videos that I created a couple of years ago, but I'm sharing them with a bit of my own new perspective at the beginning. So it really just started out as a way for me to share these old videos that I was really proud of, that I really loved. I loved creating them, and I think that they had beautiful messages in them. But I created them a couple of years ago, and I didn't really have anywhere to put them because I decided to shut down my old YouTube channel that I had created. I started this other channel because I felt like I couldn't put everything in the one place. And I've actually been on a journey of learning to embrace and accept all parts of me and accept the fact that I do have many interests and I am multi-passionate and I don't have one thing that I can create and stick to. So this is now a space where I can kind of share everything, share my podcast, share the creative videos that I'm doing, share my life, vlogs, a little bit of everything, and share my mindfulness and meditation teachings as a practitioner of this work. So long story short, I created this series and I'm really enjoying sharing my new perspective on these same topics 2 years on. And so today, talking about mindfulness around and self-care around the holiday period is so important because I think it can be so easy to get swept up in this time of year that we can lose sight of who we really are. We can lose sight of what's really important to us. It can be a really difficult time to uphold boundaries. It can be a really difficult time to feel in our power, to feel centered, and to feel really untethered, unbothered by what's going on around us. And that is what I really want for you and for myself, is to be able to kind of move through the world with this quiet confidence, this quiet self-assuredness, this quiet calmness and centeredness of just knowing who we are and not being bothered by everyone else's reactions, expectations, opinions, thoughts, societal pressures, financial pressures, feeling like we need to do things like the way everyone else is doing them. I've talked about this so much, so I won't go on about it, but that is what I feel really passionate about at the moment. And I think that having practices to support us, especially during times where it can be easy to kind of get taken away by what's happening around us and our external circumstances, is just so, so important. So the first thing that I want to share is about creating some sort of space, even just 5 minutes in your day, to come back to yourself, to come back to your center. Maybe you want to do something like a meditation. I have plenty of meditations up on my channel now. I also mentioned in the video, which you'll get to listen to shortly, about a meditation that I created around protecting your peace around the holiday period. I'm actually recreating that and it will be going up next week, but I do have other meditations that you can use in the meantime if you want to, and then you can just look forward to that video going up in the next few days. And once it's up, I will of course link it below in this video so you can go watch it. But yeah, like having some sort of a practice to come back to yourself, to protect your peace around the holidays, can be really supportive and really important. Even just having these small mindful moments that we create throughout our day to check in with how we're feeling, to come back to the present moment, to be where we are, where our feet are, can also be really helpful. I shared at the very beginning of this video or this episode, if you're watching on YouTube, if you're listening to the audio, I'm sorry, won't get to hear that. But I put all of these episodes on YouTube now. So if you want to go watch them on YouTube, you can find them. But I shared making a cup of coffee. And the reason I did that was because I just wanted to demonstrate one of the most simple ways that we can practice mindfulness is bringing our attention, our focused attention, our awareness to whatever it is that we're doing in each moment. And one of the best ways to do this is to look for those small moments throughout our day where we can slow down, where we can be fully present, where we can engage our senses. The senses are an entry point into the present moment. They are something that we always have access to, and making a cup of coffee or a cup of tea is such a great way to engage our senses, because we can notice what we can see, we can notice what we can hear, the sounds of the coffee machine or of the water boiling as we make a cup of tea. We can notice what we can feel, the warmth of the mug around our hands. We can notice what we can smell, the aromas coming off, and then we can notice what we can taste. So it is such a sensory experience. And as we begin to notice these things, we'll see them more and more throughout our day. So having a shower, brushing your teeth, making a meal, eating something, even just like sitting at the computer when you're working, typing away, you can notice how it feels. You can notice the sounds. Checking in with our breath. The breath is again one of the greatest tools that we can access to help us to be more present, because it's always with us. Our breath is our natural stress reliever. It's why at the start of these episodes, I always encourage you to slow down with me and take a deep breath. Because the breath, when we can be really conscious and mindful and take a deep breath, it can send a clear message to our nervous system that we're okay, that in this moment we're safe. And it can also help us to slow down. Slowing down our exhalation can really help us to slow down and to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which helps us to relax the body, to calm the mind. So the breath is also a really powerful tool. Use your breath. If you find yourself getting triggered around friends, family members, whatever it is, or feeling overwhelmed by just the chaos and the busyness of this time of year, use your breath. Come back to your breath. Check in with your breath. How are you feeling? How are you breathing? And it is important to mention that sometimes people can find focusing on the breath a little uncomfortable, especially if you do experience anxiety. And that is because often when we are experiencing anxiety, it is reflected in our breathing. So we can we can feel it in our chest, this like tightness, this constriction. And so focusing on the breath might just draw our awareness to that and might make us feel even more anxious. If that's your experience, that is okay. You do not have to focus on the breath. There are many other things that you can bring your awareness to in order to be present. It is just a tool, and I share many, many tools because I just want people to know that there are options. There are always many different options that we can come to or use in order to be more present, more mindful, in order to practice self-care. These are all ways that we can take care of ourselves. Even just the smallest little thing can make such a difference. And that's why I love mindfulness so much, because it is so simple. It is so practical. There's nothing we actually have to do in order to be present. It's just bringing our awareness to where we are. It's removing those distractions, or noticing when we get taken off and when we start thinking too much about the future, we start dwelling on the past. It's just coming back to where we are, noticing what's right here in front of us, and then moving forward from that place with more presence, more intention, and then knowing that we can always come back to that in any moment. What else would I like to share? I talk a little bit about creativity, and I talk about how creativity can really help us to drop into the present moment. You've probably noticed those moments before when you're so engrossed in something and you're just so in it and so in the moment. And often this happens when we are using our creativity, when we're making things, when we're using our hands, when we're engaging those senses like I talked about before. It can really help us to just be where we are. And that's often why we notice certain activities like creative things or making things. Baking is one of my favorite creative activities. This is why we can find these so calming, because we're not thinking about all of our worries. We're not thinking about all of the other things that we have to do and getting taken away by these future things that aren't here yet. We're just being where we are, we're being present. So anything creative that we can do around this time of year, I feel like is such a beautiful way to practice being present and to practice taking care of ourselves, and also just being mindful of the way that we are consuming around this time of year. Being mindful of our social media use, being mindful of the foods that we are consuming, being mindful not to over-consume in terms of things we're buying. There's so much consumerism and buying things, and it can be a really lovely, beautiful thing to give the people that we love gifts, but can we just be mindful of what's necessary, what people need? I personally have been moving towards a more minimal lifestyle for the last 5, 6, 7 years. I've been constantly reflecting on the belongings that I have and just being really mindful of what is necessary, what do I really need. And, of course, allowing ourselves to enjoy the delights of life and to enjoy beautiful things and things that do give our lives purpose and meaning, but just being conscious of what that is and seeing if we can not overconsume or overspend or get swept up in, perhaps is a better way of saying, get swept up in this, what can be sometimes a very consumeristic, is that a word? Like a material time of the year, getting back to what's really important, spending time with family, spending time with loved ones, getting back to ourselves, having the cozy comforts, having time to rest, to relax. This is what the holidays are really all about. So can we just be conscious of that, and can we just come back to what's really important? I think that that's really all I want to say now, and just again a reminder to allow ourselves to enjoy this time of year, to enjoy the little joys. I talked about this in my last episode, looking for the little joys in life and allowing ourselves to notice them and appreciate them and be present with them, but then also allowing ourselves time to slow down, allowing ourselves time to rest. Even amongst the busyness and the chaos, can we still find those small moments for ourselves, those small mindful moments? Can we still find some space in our lives to slow down, to be still. And the one last thing that I will share before we get into the video portion of this episode is I think that this time of year is a really nice time to reflect, to take stock of the year that's just been. I tend to find myself winding down towards the end of the year and really starting to think about, like, who do I want to be in this new year, and not in a way of waiting to become this future version of myself. I'm going to be talking a lot about this soon, about becoming, this idea of becoming our best selves and this idea of self-improvement and needing to be better. I really want to encourage you to focus on, like, who do I want to be today? How can I be this version of myself that I want to be in this very moment? How can I embody my values, what's important to me, these qualities that I really aspire to? How can I embody them right here and now? But I do think that it is a beautiful time of year to reflect and to take stock, to think about the kinds of lessons we've learned this year, to reflect on all of the challenges, and to acknowledge ourselves for just how far we've come. Perhaps we're not where we want to be or where we think we should be, but it's so important to just reflect on how far we've come, all of the challenges we've overcome, all of the obstacles we've faced, all of the days where we felt like giving up, but we kept going. Give yourself space and time to really acknowledge yourself for that. I don't think that we do that enough. And I think that this is what it means to really practice self-care and to practice self-love, is to just acknowledge ourselves and celebrate ourselves and appreciate who we are, this version of ourselves right here and now, in the pursuit of our goals, in the pursuit of our dreams. Can we love and accept and embrace and celebrate and acknowledge this version of ourselves right here and now? Because this is the only version of ourselves we ever really have access to. It's all well and good to have future goals and future dreams, and of course hold on to those and cherish those and pursue those with all of your heart. But this very version of yourself right here and now is the only person that you ever have access to. It is the only place that we can take action from, is the present moment. So can we come back to ourselves? Can we center ourselves? Can we get really clear on what's important to ourselves? Can we make space and time for the things that really nurture us and really allow us to be our best selves in this very moment? And can we just take steps, small steps, each and every day from that place, from that centered place, from that place of quiet confidence, quiet self-assuredness, quiet just remembering who we are, remembering our spirit, remembering our true selves. So I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for watching, listening. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being you. I truly appreciate you so much. I love you, and I really am acknowledging you and cheering you on right now, wherever you are and whatever it is that you may be facing and going through right now. So sending you all of my love, and I hope you enjoy the rest of this episode, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye. Self-care is always important, but particularly around the holiday period, as our lives tend to be much busier. We can find ourselves feeling mixed feelings at this time. Excitement and joy, but also overwhelm, stress and anxiety. Here are some simple ways to stay mindful and to practice self-care during the holiday period. I find that it's particularly important to create and keep mindful routines and rituals at this time of the year. Even when things get busy and we find ourselves being spread more thinly with various commitments, taking time for ourselves to do the things that help us to feel our very best can really help to navigate the holiday season with less stress and more ease. For me, my morning walks are a non-negotiable. Even just going for a short, mindful walk outside to get some fresh air and move my body makes such a difference to the way that I feel. It helps me to clear my head and to reconnect with myself. Another daily ritual I've been trying to keep up recently is meditating in the morning. Even if this is just slowing down and having 5 minutes to ground myself into the present moment, focusing on my breath and setting an intention for the day. I've also been finding that my energy levels are a lot lower at the moment. As the year draws to an end, it's not unusual to be feeling extra tired and depleted. It's been a big year and we've all been through a lot, so I'm trying to take some of the pressure off myself. Most days I actually just like to meditate lying down. I find this is the easiest way for my body to fully relax and drop into a state of deep relaxation. One thing I've learnt as a meditation teacher is that there's no right or wrong way to meditate. Just find what works for you and listen to what it is that your body needs. There's a Zen proverb that says you should sit in meditation for 20 minutes a day, unless you're too busy, then you should sit for an hour. Now I know this isn't at all realistic, but I do like the concept and I think it really does apply to this busier time of the year. It's more important than ever to find time to be with ourselves and to take care of ourselves. I recently shared a short meditation here on this channel to help you to protect your energy during the holiday period. I'll leave it linked below and I hope that it can help you to feel more calm and centered during this time. After I meditate, I like to journal. I find this is a great way to write down anything that's come up in my meditation or any other thoughts or emotions I may be having. One thing I've been doing lately is making an effort to take note of any triggers that I have. These are the things that come up throughout the day that affect our mental state. And the holiday period can often bring up a lot of emotions and triggers for us, especially when we're spending time around more people or around family. They may mean well, but sometimes it's the people who know us best who tend to push our buttons the most. Keeping track of our triggers can be a bit daunting at first, but what I've found is that these triggers are actually an invitation for us to get to know ourselves on a deeper level. They can help to show us what areas we may need to explore a bit more and where we can be a little more kinder to ourselves and to others. This leads me into my next suggestion for this time of year, which is to try to be more present in each moment. I find the best way to be more present is to notice when I'm not. Noticing these moments where I'm getting caught up in negative thought patterns, worrying about unknown things in the future, or dwelling on things from the past. I try to catch myself in these moments and to bring my attention back to the present. A great way to do this is to bring more presence to the small moments. finding small mindful moments to really be fully present in this moment. The holidays are also a great opportunity for us to be more creative. I know I've said this before, but creativity is such an important part of mindfulness because when we're doing something creative, our attention is fully focused on what's in front of us. So whether that's decorating or writing, making art or baking, it's an opportunity for us to bring our awareness into the present moment. I personally love to bake. I find it so relaxing, and I often find myself getting into a state of flow, losing all track of time. My worries seem to melt away, and I can just enjoy being present with what I'm doing. I'm also trying to be really conscious of not buying unnecessary gifts or spending too much on material items this holiday season. Giving handmade or personalised gifts is a great way to practice being more mindful around this time of year. I hope this video has been helpful and given you some simple self-care ideas and ways to be more mindful during the holiday period. I hope that you too are able to give yourself the care that you deserve as the year draws to an end. I always find the end of the year such a magical time, but it does have its challenges. It's a great opportunity to reflect on the year that's just been, to take stock of our lives, and to get intentional about how we want to show up in the new year. I'll be sharing more about this in my next video, and I really look forward to seeing you then. Take care. Bye for now.